All right, good morning. It is good to see you right here on the show. The show is Your World. My name is Winnie Lubembe, and I hope that you've had a restful weekend just as I have. And I hope you're ready to conquer the week, and I hope that you have had a better start to the day and to the week. Welcome to the show. Always a pleasure to have you guys tune in and listen to our conversations, but also contribute to the conversation, because the conversations that we bring right here on the show are not just ours, it is ours, okay? All of us together. And today's conversation, it's not new. It's not something that we have never discussed before here on Your World, but today we want to look at it from a different angle, from a different perspective, okay? And today we are looking at single motherhood, and we are trying to unpack what exactly does it mean, okay? Being a single mother. And I know most of you are like, that's like you are single mothers and all those things. No, because these are conversations that we really need to have and really go deeper into really understanding what it means to be a single mother, because there's a lot of negative connotations when it comes to a single motherhood, and there's a lot of, I would say, abuse in the sense that a lot of people would say, yeah, we are behaving because like this because they've been raised by a single mom, okay? But how about we shift the narrative, we change the brand, you know, as far as single motherhood is concerned, and look at it from a point of power, because one of our guests that we have many months. Karibu sana on the show. Good to have you. We have Mwangi, who's an elevation coach. Families post-trauma experiences is her expertise. Good to see you this morning. You know, it's so weird because every time you're here, me, I'm somewhere. Either I am shooting Health Diary or I am on leave. But it's so good to finally meet you. Good to see you. Thank you so much for making the time. And we also have Samba, who is an advocate. Family equity. Where? Good to see you today. You know, last time you were here, you were that single, not single fathers, men's advocate and all those things. Yes. Good to see you again. How are you doing? It's been an amazing time, you know, since the last time you were here, but pia ukapotea kidogo, sijui enda wapi, you know, but it's so good to see you. Karibu sana. And before we start the conversation, we have a very simple question for you this morning that also, you know, requires a bit of introspection, okay? And the question is being a single mom a weakness or the ultimate form of resilience? Is being a single mom a weakness or the ultimate form of resilience? That is the question that we're asking you this morning, and engage with us. You know the drill by now. At NTV Kenya across all social media handles is how you can reach us, and also tag me at Lubembe_Winnie, that is on X. And if you want to call in live, please do so, because we are live and the lines are open, so feel free to engage with us as well. Give us a call if you are a single mom, if you've been raised by a single mom, if you know a single mother who's doing amazing out there, give us a call and, you know, let's talk about it. But at the same time, if you call in and the lines are busy, don't you worry, because you can engage with us as well on our WhatsApp number, 0112-500-400. Once again, 0112-500-400. So, Lilian, before we talk about your video and sort of like what prompted this whole conversation about single motherhood, there's a lot of questions, because when I was reading through your comments, I was like, is she a single mom? Is she not? What is happening? So can we just start from there, understanding from your perspective that video and where you are at the moment?
Yes. No, the thing I don't want from this conversation is the headline to say my status.
Yes.
But then, just to clarify, I'm not a single mom.
Okay.
But then also, I think people were asking, why are you sharing your opinion? Although most were positive.
Positive, yes.
Why are you sharing if you're not in the shoes?
Yes.
So that's unfair because we're all living through it amongst us, our parents, aunties, sisters.
Yeah.
We know people who are raising their kids alone. So it came from the angle of, I was just scrolling in the morning and I saw this girl who is brilliant. She had her whole life before going on, and she separated with the baby father. And then now her identity changed completely. So everything she posts and talks about is single motherhood. And for her, she's doing okay. So I wouldn't say she's, quote, quote, struggling too much.
Okay.
But then again, I always feel, as I said in the beginning, it comes with a point of, oh yeah, like this is so sad.
Yeah.
But there's something called moriah, where it fits, just love fits as it comes, you know. You're going to be single probably through death, divorce, separation, or even things could happen that could make you single.
Yeah.
So do you make that your brand, your identity, and for how long?
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Because as I said in the video, I wish we could play it, everything happens according to God's plan.
Yeah.
So somehow he knew you'd be married for 2 years, 5 years, 20 years, and then the 21st year you would be single.
Something happens,
you know?
yes.
So do you forget entirely who you were before and then now just say single motherhood, you know?
And then it's like you're branded that, you know? So everything else is forgotten about your accomplishments, about how amazing of a mother, how amazing of a partner, how amazing of a human being you are. And then the term single mother is what, you know, people would tend to brand people.
So what does it mean? Because you could have a husband who's not with you there in any way, financially, emotionally, in any way. So do you call yourself a single mother then because you're doing everything? Or single mother means you're single just because your partner is not there physically with you? Then also you could be separated, divorced, and your partner is fully involved in your kid's life. He's providing everything. You are even dating. So are you still a single mother?
You see,
like, what does it mean?
Yes, to be a single mother. Tony, can we just start from there? I'm so sorry. Yes, you're saying so.
So I feel like it's a bit of misuse, or probably we need to just shift what it means.
And it's true, because I was also thinking about it. Like when we say someone is a single mother, what exactly does that mean? Because we have some people who are single mothers by choice. They said, me, I just want to have a child, raise the child by myself. I do not want to involve the father of. So the father is not completely, you know, in the picture. And then there are all these other circumstances that you know, follow. So really, single motherhood. Can we let's really go deeper into? Forget the term to single mother. You know, left, right, and center, and get to really understand the depth of the same.
Thank you so much, and I'll pick from where Lilian has left. Mine is to say that there is need to understand the context, because we can't generalize the term single mother. As she said, there are different avenues to becoming a single mother. It could be maybe your partner's died, maybe it's a young girl who got pregnant out of teenage pregnancy, maybe it's through rape, maybe it's divorce. So we need to look at the context and also understand the different communities that we come from, because there's what we call social and gender norms, and this plays a key role in terms of how people look at single motherhood. If you go, for example, at communities like the Meru community, whereby the child is believed to be the father's, it's a patriarchal society. And if you go at the Kikuyu society, whereby the child is seen as the mother's. So in Meru community, you'll find out that there are so many children from single mothers, but what happens is that they're taken back to their grandparents who are able to take care of them, and the community is not so obsessed with the term that someone had a child and then left the child behind and then went and got married somewhere else. Also, we have to look at the context in terms of the rural setup and the urban setup. If you look at the data from the KDHS 2022, that is the Kenya Demographic Health Survey, it states that there has been increase in terms of women and families, or single motherhood, from 27% to around 31%. So it shows that it's a phenomenon that is quite common in the urban setting, unlike the rural setup. So we have, as we unpack this, it's necessary that we look at the different context, the different forms of single motherhood, what has led to it. You also spoke about single motherhood by choice. There are women who are out there doing amazing and they're more than happy to be single. They're just looking for someone to be a sperm donor, let's say so, and then they're happy to take care of their children. So you cannot compare that one with this vulnerable young girl who out of teenage pregnancy is a single mother, or someone who has undergone GBV and then she finds herself as a single mother. So the contexts are quite unique, and that's why you can generalize it. It's of essence that we look at everything case by case, and that way we will be able to have an amazing conversation, and people will stop stigmatization and generalizing everything.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback on that, right? So when it comes to sort of like the impact, you know, with first of all, just the term, forget even the different scenarios that might lead up to single motherhood, just the term single mother in itself. Can we talk about the impact that it can have on self and to, let's say, the children who are being raised by the single mother? Forget if there were traumas or not, just that term, that word, single mother.
Single means one, alone, individual. So from an aspect of your view, that the impact that it has on that lady and the children is that probably we're now, the image you presented is a family that has broken. But as they mentioned, you could just be, it happened to you and got pregnant and you've been doing this forever. So that the impact is different as well. Because socially, when did you get pregnant? That's how society looks at you like. When did you get pregnant? How old were you? Were you ready? You know? And then if you're a family, mostly the approach is the woman is at fault. How could you not keep a man? How could you not be able to hold your family together? And they'll tell you, Proverbs 31 woman, oh, she built her home. And then they quote another verse and tell you, she also breaks down her home with her own 2 hands. And when those conversations are going on, you need a safety net. You need a cheerleader, you need a scaffolding. That's my perspective. And that scaffolding is what I would offer as elevation for you, because the first thing is that impact. Obviously, when you face an impact, something has to hit the ground. And so that's your esteem, that's your essence, that's your social value. And you'll hear so many people say, oh, after I separated or I divorced, my phone went quiet, my babies are not being invited to birthday parties anymore, I'm not welcome to the ladies' ministry anymore at church because perhaps someone will eye me or they've been eyeing me. So there's a lot of social insecurity as well, because I think naturally they're just afraid of who this woman will now present herself to be. But my view is, if you're awesome, which we all are, it will still manifest, whether you're married or not, whether you're single or not. And for today's topic, I'd just like us to remember, as a single mom, your body is your home. So as we go through this conversation, just start knitting your home. If you're a single mom, if you've been labeled that, it's really not like HIV that can't be cured, and it's not a disease. It's a part of life, and you just saw, like she said from that video, there's life after that.
There's life after that. And Bulpa, I really like that your body is your home, and I would want us to really unpack, you know, more on that. Eric, I know. So for the singleness to happen, it means there was something that did not happen. Does that make sense? And the question I'm asking is the role of men when it comes to single motherhood, and not a me versus them, you know, approach, but the aspect that this part is missing and what impact that has on the woman in, on the child. Very briefly, and then we go on a break, and then when we come back, we'll unpack more on the same.
Just a quick one. If you look at a Nation Africa report, they say that by age 45, roughly 6 in 10 women in Kenya are likely to have been single mothers.
6 in 10.
So, yes. So to unpack that. I think the society fails when men don't step up, because I believe single motherhood is simply a female who is running a household without a partner, in most cases. So that's the simplicity of it. But also, our society is the way it is because we as men, I believe that we have failed in so many aspects. In terms of stepping up, in terms of showing up, and also believe that, you know, and I've said this in several occasions, that when sex stopped being sacred, this is the aftermath. You know, and like we've said, women will end up being single mothers, some not by choice, like Lilian has rightly put, some it can be, you know, you're widowed. So, you know, and some of it can also, you're a perfect wife, but umeachwa. You know, some you can do everything. Everything right, to the book. Mpaka you don't even share secrets, unapigwa, unanyamaza tu kwa nyumba na utawachwa bado. Umeelewa? Unapika chapati mfuko mbili, unaachwa nayo. So I think from the aspect of men is that we as men, we have to take a pause and say we've also failed our women.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. So when we come back then from the break, because the last time you were here, you said if we fix men, we'll fix this nation. Okay. So we'll also talk about that, the fixing part, and not just on the men, but really I wouldn't say the society as a whole, so that would bring up families that are whole. And families come in different forms, which again we'll talk about as we come back from the break. But for now, remember the question that we're asking you this morning, which is very, very simple. And it is being a single mom, okay, a weakness, or is it the ultimate form of resilience? Is being a single mom a weakness or the ultimate form of resilience? Engage with us, and that is on our socials at NTV Kenya across all board. Give us a call. Our lines are officially open, or use our WhatsApp number 0112-500-400. We'll come back and unpack more on what exactly it means to be a single mom, but also go through your feedback after the break.
I have this thought. It was with me as I drove down today. It is unprocessed in my mind, so probably we can unload and process together. And it's the thought about how we've normalized the term single mother. And in my mind, the challenge I have with this term, this branding, is that being a single mother, it's a very big deal. It's a very big deal because God, I'm saying God because everything goes according to God's plan, okay? Because God has seen it all right to make you a single mother. And somebody was saying that every marriage, relationship always ends either in divorce, separation, or death. So whichever it is, itakupata. Now, as I was saying, God has seen it right to make you a single mother for whatever circumstances, no matter how bad. So he has seen that you're capable of doing this thing alone, no matter how hard it is. So I feel like when we say single mother, it comes with some bit of oye at the beginning, and the challenge I have how do we add on to whatever is already there to show the power of being a single mother? And then I'm thinking, sometimes you're married and you're doing everything alone as a woman. So do you then term yourself a single mother? Or because you're in a setup that your partner is there, you're not a single mother then? Then does it mean now, if your partner is not physically there, you become a single mother because your identity is attached to your relationship? That's not proper. And what is wrong with raising kids alone? There's nothing wrong with that. There might be a few things, but now I think in today's world, there's always ways to fill in the gaps. Being a woman raising kids alone, I think it's the greatest, biggest, most wonderful experience, because life has shown you are a badass. You can ace this. You don't need anybody there with you. You know? I have a friend who, she got 2 kids with this guy, and the guy vanished from the very beginning. And this lady has raised the kid alone, no help from this guy. And you would never know. And I have never had a mention mambo sijui ya kuwa single mother. Never mentioned. Okay? Now, are the kids lacking? Absolutely not. The kids are thriving, they are well-rounded, they are happy, you know. They have a very good relationship with the mother and the kids now. They are friends. The kids are not lacking anything. So, again, as I say, this thought is unprocessed. As you can see, I'm all over the place. How do we rebrand and show the power of women raising kids alone? and not necessarily just term it single mother, which sort of comes with, oh my God, your boyfriend left you, your husband left you, it must be so hard. It is hard doing the runnings, it's overwhelming, but it is so good. You know, it comes with peace, it comes with gratitude for what you're learning about yourself, your kids, the bond you create with your kids. So how do we show power in this situation instead of showing the warrior part? I don't know. Let me know. Josh, how?
Okay, and we're unpacking that today right here on the show. First of all, were you able to process? Because you said when you're recording the video, it's still something that you were still trying to process.
Yeah.
You know, so were you able to process it?
A little bit.
A little
there
bit.
was a lot of engagement
Okay.
under the post.
Yeah.
So I was able to see the different aspects of where people's minds are. Yeah, but I think it's just continuous, and what they're saying, just add on and subtract. Add.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just process together.
Yeah. It's something that we can still, you know, process together. And, okay, so then shifted from point of waye and witness to a point of power. Can we unpack that more from your perspective in terms of how then do we do that? Because we talked about there are different, you know, scenarios that come to play that, you know, ultimately lead to that point of single motherhood. But then again, it doesn't mean that we have to stay there. Okay, there's a lot of work, I want to say, that, you know, should be put into to make sure that this child does not feel, you know, maybe it's because of me, or maybe, you know, something that I did that I was, yeah, so shifting it and looking at it from a point of power, from where you sit, what does that look like?
It's, you know, I think what happens, I always say, let me just probably talk about something that happened a few months ago. It was a trend on TikTok, yeah? And guys were talking about the useless thing that I got for my child. And I was so, is it anger? Because I'm thinking, it was about now the baby daddy, and then people would post that. And that is so terrible because your child is going to grow up, you know? And when kids grow up, even we grew up, and we got to know my father, there was something, my mother, so you get to understand your parents better. So I feel we should never brand either party in whatever way. Let the kids grow up and find out the truth, or the lies, or whatever. So if you are just in a state of, can I say, mourning your relationship, your kids are going to pick up that energy, you know? So just move on. Life has happened. It's not the end of life. It could be sad. It's overwhelming. It's crazy. It's just too much to handle as one person. Just move on, you know? So do you show up to your kids' school and just sit at the corner and say, oh, see, Baba, you go up, so now, no. The kids are picking up everything. So how do we shift that? How do we empower our kids to shift from that narrative of oye? Just show up at the best part. And I think what she said, when you go through something traumatic, it's like your next level shows up. So let's capitalize on that next level. And it's sad because sometimes your great self shows up after a breakup. And I feel like marriage should it should be so free for you that it brings out your best self. But I think once we get married, we feel, no, I can't. Because, for example, this post I did, guys were like, are you a single mother? Even my husband was sent for the clip. And I told him, just because we are married, it does not mean I should not share my thought. And of course, he was okay with that. And his comment, I remember, was, he understood where I was coming from, of course. And his comment was, what about women who are running on this brand of single motherhood, yet they're keeping the kids away from fathers who want to be involved? You understand? And I think what he said, once we fix them, I don't know how we would fix the men. That's a very tall order, because you have to fix yourself before now we can fix you. If the men probably rose up a little bit more, and probably the women rose up as well, because when men rise, we feel like, now you can't. You understand? So it should be like a companionship, a happy companionship where you're yourself, you're free, the kids are happy, everybody's thriving. Do you want to just pick up on that in terms of like marriage should bring out your best self, that even if something was to happen and it sort of ends, you don't lose your best self just because a chapter of your life, you know, has ended?
Yes, definitely, because what we're talking about, that losing of yourself, is that impact. So from there you need to elevate. And how do you elevate from that experience? So you are married, you're with someone, and for you, you know, when you get into marriage, like he said earlier, it's until death do us part. It's a sacred union. But what happens when now that occurs? how do you quickly rebrand yourself? And there's no quickly in it. Quickly is different for everybody.
Yeah, it's relative.
Quickly is the impact is also different for everybody. There's a woman who's been saying, the day this is over, I will manifest, because they can see how they've been tethered to someone who is not allowing them. Then there are some people who are so free, and they're like, I'm just here for convenience. I'm here for these children. Yeah. Remember how there's also another narrative of how women stayed. I think when we were young, that's the time those women were leaving for the US. They were just chilling. This child has finished for 4. Out, gone, of the space. And they're thinking, my work here is done. So when you think of single motherhood, it's really not a one fits all outfit. There's someone who's wearing a mini for it, someone who's wearing a long frock, someone who's going, kabisa, this is how I came, and this is how I'm gonna go down. But I think the value after that process of becoming a single mom is fixing yourself. Finding yourself, working with yourself, looking inward and saying, who have I always been? Not who am I now. Who have I always been? Because many times the people I've worked with in that space is, who am I now? So you have always been. You have always been. And that's the purpose of elevation. Now let's tear away everything that's peeling off, and let's locate you and bring you up higher.
Okay, fixing self. And we'll look at then the fixing part of it, and also what we're talking about. How then do we, reshape this narrative, and moving from, the way-shape part to then looking at it from a point of, what, you're doing amazing, you can do it, and your kids will be okay. We were talking about the different scenarios, and there was also the question on the impact depending on the scenario. Is it different? Is it, the same? Because the term is the same, single motherhood, and we don't really take time to look at the different scenarios that bring up the single motherhood part. So can we then go deeper into, say, for example, so there is a mom who, say, got pregnant, so the father is not completely in the picture. And then there's also this other scenario where, so there's the mom and the dad, they say they were not married, right? And then, so they broke up, but the dad is in the child's picture. So can we talk about these two scenarios? Then we'll talk about the married, part, and look at it from both the mom, the dad, and the child as well, and what this would do again to either of them.
Okay, thank you. Before going to that, let me talk about fixing men. How can we fix men? Okay. Because I think it's an important thing that we need to start thinking about. As they say, it's quite difficult to teach an old dog or cats, whatever, new tricks. So it's the high time that we start seeing how we can start having conversations with the young boys as they grow up, so that they can grow up understanding the context, understanding why they're supposed to respect the women, how they're supposed to carry themselves within the society, and how even they're supposed to take care of themselves as men. So if we're able to do that from the young age, and that's why all men need to see how they can do mentorship for the young boys out there, because that is something, a step that has been missed mostly, and that's why you see we have men out there who are not able to control themselves emotionally. Things happen in relationships, and their reactions are quite the worst that can be. So it's necessary that we ensure that we are also having conversations with the young boys out there and trying to see how we can fix that from that tender age, and then we are going to have amazing men going forward. In terms of the scenarios that you gave, I'll say that in cases whereby, for example, it's a pregnancy that the woman doesn't understand who is the father or who is responsible. There's stigma that comes with that. We are Africans, and Africa is our business. Sex is not something that people pretend that it doesn't happen. That's the reality. Whereas it's happening even as we speak here. There are people who are enjoying it in different places. It's happening, and we pretend it doesn't happen. Most of us, even when growing up, we were told that children were bought or something of the sort. The narrative is changing with the coming of social media, and people are now understanding that there is something that happens so that we can have children come on board. And with that narrative, if we are not able to demystify such myths, that children are bought, that this is something sacred. We make it, people understand that any time that they two people decide to mingle with each other, there's a possibility that they could bring a pregnancy or something to this world. So once we are able to fix that, the narrative is going to change. At the same time, there's what we call socialization, which is very key in the societies that we live in. How do we see single motherhood in the societies? We live in patriarchal societies. As we said, another key aspect is religion. What does religion teach us? It teaches us that you're supposed to stay in marriage, or you're not supposed to have children without being married or something of the sort. That's a very key factor also that brings the discrimination against the single mothers and what is happening, because you can't ignore religion in this country. It's very powerful. In some of the communities, religious leaders are more powerful than the political leaders. That their word is very key. And what do they teach us? So these are some of the things that we need to unpack for us to understand why the different things are happening. In the cases whereby the father is known but he is not responsible, it also depends with the context again, in the sense that you will find out that depending with the community, that's why I keep saying the community where you come from. Because in some of the communities, we might ignore that it's cultural. In some of the communities, it's normalized. It's okay for you to have a child out of wedlock. And then as long as you're able to take responsibility after some time. But do we want to normalize that? No. So that's why I say we need to start fixing those gaps and also looking at how we are bringing up the boys. Are we telling them it's okay, as they have seen from their grandparents growing up, that we have a brother who is not of the same mother with us in our family. He was brought up while a teenager was brought up at the point of circumcision. That is what they have normalized. So do we start now changing that conversation and that narrative? Because you can't ignore that, because the way you have been brought up is what you're likely to influence you. They say monkey see, monkey do. That's what is happening with our societies.
Okay, we'll talk more on the socialization aspect of it, because here on Your World, most of the time the conversation that we usually have is there is the ideal and then there's the reality. So the ideal is a family unit, father, mother and children. That is what we were taught when we were in school. But then the reality is that is not, you know, common for the
norm. It's not the consistent norm. And like you said, when that issue of how the different men respond to pregnancy, say from the aspect of we were together and then we split up and now you're a single mom and we were just together, we're not committed at all, but then there was a marriage, like I think like Lilian said, and how do you help the children also elevate from that aspect? Is you allow them to go to their relatives, you understand? But because of also, like I was saying earlier during the break, glorification of single motherhood, you know, this is a great thing, now you're free. No, it's everything done without measure becomes a catastrophe. So I believe that it's important that you get that help for yourself and understand that these children will grow and they will want to know about it. And it's not your place to, they can see. Someone is to say, you know, they can see, but then you're feeling, no. I want to help them write a book, you know, and them to understand you don't do this. You just let the children grow and they will navigate their own path in your relationship, in your single motherhood. So the same way, I mean, I'm just trying to cover all the grounds. Of how people say you were raised by a single mom, so you're faulty. Some single moms have done great work. Great work. So it's good that we also lean on that side of resilience, because like you're saying earlier as well, you're now free to do. You're now free to be, and not only to go to Dubai, Samba.
And have a good time and swim with the dolphins.
Not only to go to Dubai, but you have, say you had someone who you don't share values with, and now you're left with your children. This is your time to pour out from a full cup. You see, and you don't have to say, oh, he's not pouring into my cup and then I pour. So you're pouring from your own full cup, and then God has a way, like she said again, to refill you and keep you engaged. The same way he said, religion is very, very important. But what do you do when religion fails you? I've been working someone very closely, and they said our church does not promote divorce. So if you divorce, you're faulty. And so you divorce person. Yeah. So I thought
you will infect the others in the church.
So you see, so when he talks about religion, for me, I'm thinking, who has the gavel? Who has the gavel?
Yeah.
We need. So it's an all-rounded, very unique scenario to each person, and that's why resilience comes in as a very important thing for yourself.
For self.
Who have you always been? Not who are you now. I'd like our listeners to understand it's not about who are you now. Who have you become now? Who were you always as that person?
And going back and finding that person. Okay. Erica, I'm so sorry that every time we come to you, we need to go on a break.
Money has been poured.
Money has been poured.
I've been guarded.
But I promise you, since I did not want to rush you
all in good taste. All in good taste. All in good taste.
And then Dubai was thrown in there.
Dubai was thrown in there too. And spice. The money has been poured. No, let's take that break, and then I promise when we come back, we'll start with you. And really on that whole aspect about idolizing, first of all, single motherhood, that right now, it's just so sad because I was having a conversation with, friends of mine, and there was a young girl who said, you know what, I'm just thinking about freezing my eggs, and then when I am ready, I will just, have someone to, and then raise the child by myself. So young girls now, okay, not to generalize, but you'd hear some young girls say, I do not want to get married, I do not want to, because of, say, maybe the idolization, of single motherhood, which again, like you said, will take away from those who are very deserving. So then how do we move away from that? I promise we'll start from there, okay? But to remind you of the question that we're asking you this morning, and that is, one sec, let me find it. Is being a single mom a weakness or the ultimate form of resilience? That is the question that we're asking you this morning. A lot of you have a lot to say, and that is on Facebook as well, which I'll go through the feedback as we come back from the break. But remember the question there, it is on your screen, and that is being a single mom, a weakness or the ultimate form of resilience? Keep sending in your views. We'll read them as we come back from the break right after this. Welcome back to the show. We're officially in, we're a few seconds until the second hour of the show, right here on Your World on this Mindful Monday. And we are talking about single motherhood, and we are unpacking what exactly it means to be a single mother, but also reshaping and, changing the narrative, from what we're talking about, that it shouldn't really define who you are as a person, and you shouldn't wear that title with, because the society, that is, what the society sadly, views single mothers. You must have done something to be here, or it is your fault, or so, but really that is not the case, or shouldn't be the case. How do we move from that title, single mother, and ensuring that the children are well looked after? Okay, so the question that we're asking you this morning is being a single mom a weakness or the ultimate form of resilience? Boy, do you have a lot to say on Facebook. Is being a single mom a weakness or the ultimate form of resilience? Let's look at what you have to say on WhatsApp. Let's see. Okay, so this one says, good morning at my world. Okay, your world, I think you meant. Says, I think single motherhood is the ultimate form of resilience, but the stigma is too much. For example, most of my cousins and aunties are single mothers and they are doing great. But sasa, story may change. Now it's that our family, or rather girls in our family, hawawezi kaa kwa ndoa, and it's becoming a problem. But as someone raised by a single mother, I feel like people just understand or see what they want to and not what really happened, to push some of these women to raise children on their own. Most of these women are risking losing their social life for the mental and physical health of their kids. And that, to me, needs a lot of strength and courage. Wow, thank you for that. Someone says single motherhood is not just about yourself. It's actually more than on the. It's actually more on the child or children, and especially when they get to teenage and are looking for their identity. That can break them. Okay, and then on Facebook, Dutabi Talk says, where one can be single due to death of their partner, and you don't put a sticker on your forehead to show why you are single. Be slow to judge. And then another one says, that got many trajectories. Single through death or of a partner, divorce, or by choice. It will depend. I think we've talked about that as well. And then someone here says, if she chooses, or this is Rebecca and Jerry, the previous one was from Glaze, aka Amaaka. Okay. And then Rebecca Jerry says, if she chooses her life and peace over death and violence, then it's strength. Not all date married men. It's all about making choices in life. Good choice. And then someone here says, Gilbert Muruki says, being a single mother is not a weakness. It is a testament to resilience, strength, and unwavering dedication. And then another person here says, hey, this is MC Scene, who says a person's marital relationship status and parenting are two very different things. The same way a good parent can make a bad spouse, and a good spouse could be the worst parent. Your child and your partner could easily experience different versions of you. You are a father, period. You are a mother, the end. Single, married, widowed, divorced, etc. has nothing to do with your kids. Interesting. Okay. And then someone here, this is Gikunji Mary, says, it's never a weakness on my side. But why? And then another one says, this is Ngugi Paul Karago, who says, there are single dads too. It's not like only moms get single, address the single parenthood. And we agree. And we said that on the show, that it's not just about single mothers, but also single dads. And again, we'll also still have a conversation on single dads, which we've had, I promise, here on the show, but we'll continue to have. And then there's another one, Beryl Cookie, who says, ultimate form of resilience for me. These women go through a lot of struggle. Some remain hidden to see their kids have a perfect life as any other kid. And then another one here says, Emily says, ladies, from the comments, I have realized men do not like us women. How do your deadbeat dads in the front line throwing shades? Okay, we're fixing them. We're fixing the men, and Eric is here to help us with that. And then Cheptab Korongo says, it's not a weakness or nor ultimate form of resilience. I'm a single mom. I choose to be single. In other cases, women ditch marriage because of domestic violence. And then another one here, Faye Organic says, this single mothers, mated with men, right? So we have single fathers as well, right? It's just that they don't live with their children. Anyway, depending on the angle you view the question, then you'll have your answer. If she escapes violence of any kind to choose peace for her children or through death of spouse, then it's a strength. But for those sleeping around to trap others, who can't be trapped, I make a brackets, who can't be trapped, it's a total weakness. And then Vidian, wait.
That we live in, number one is there's another special group of, I can call them young women or girls we are discussing, who did not become single mothers by choice. Some were raped. You know, today there are women raising children who were born out of rape.
Yes.
So, and if you see this woman, just say all of them are single mothers. So I think the first thing we should, like about fixing men, we should first of all start from marriage. Okay. Because marriage is what was defined by society, whether you're a Christian or not. There's legally and there's the Christian way, or Muslim or Buddhist or whichever faith you ascribe to. I think we should first realize that when two people come together to do some conjugal activities, there's going to be a byproduct from it.
True.
And that ends up being a child. So if we just talk about single women, then that would be a different story. But we're talking about single mothers. That means that there's a human being involved. There's an adult in training who one day will become a father or a mother, just like Lilian said. So they're watching everything that we're doing. True. So number one, where I want to disagree with Tony, is that there should be some sacredness Because there was a time I was looking at the 10 Commandments, and I said, when you look at it from a religious angle, you can say they are prohibiting. But today, if you kill, Jesus is not coming to go to prison on your behalf. You are the one who's going to jail. Sawa?
Okay.
If you commit adultery with somebody's wife, that they come and chop your head off, it's not Jesus coming to be chopped off, it's you.
It is you.
So some of these laws that are there are meant to make the society function in a proper way.
Okay.
And to ensure that everybody is taking care of each other. That's why I think that sex at an early age, of course, children are having sex, and in some instances, because of their bodies, the adolescence and all that, their body will be doing things here and there. That's why I believe that we should also train them as much as we can, self-control, if we can. Because at the end of the day, I work in Kibra. I run a faith-based organization.
Okay.
And the number of children who are getting pregnant nowadays, it's crazy. And also the number of men who are impregnating them. These are boys, they are not even men, it's children impregnating children.
Okay.
So there's a dysfunctionality that is taking place in the society. And it's just from a very early age. And that's why I believe with everybody who has spoken here, from Moriah to Lilian to Tony, and yourself also, Winnie, alluding to it, is that we have to start young. Our generation is far gone. Our to TikToker, tumeona mengi. Now to rewire us, it's a bit
it's gonna
hard.
take
So we have to start with the young ones. And for the men, as a man, you have to realize one thing. At times use them for gentleness.
Okay.
You know, to hold children, to hold your wife or your girlfriend or whoever it is, right?
Yeah.
And as men, we need to lead from the front. Because nowadays you see men on TikTok bragging how many women they've slept with, even posting their photos. That shows that you are traumatized. Uko na shida mahali. Kuna kitu ilienda wrong somewhere. So I think the best way to fix it is just to agree that our marriages, relationships are not functioning properly.
Okay.
So we need to ask ourselves, where did we go wrong? Because the same way they're single mothers, there are also marriages that are functioning properly. Just that there are very few forums where people talk about marriage. Marriages are also working.
True.
Not all of them are failing.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just because it has become the single mothers, with all due respect, like it talks about glorification, are suffering. And most of them are. Because some of them have men in high places. You know, and I always say at times, when you are doing your thing, hatukuwa tunajua, like sasa vitu zikienda wrong, you bring your online media family, na mnatuita mkutano, tupiane maoni.
Okay. All right.
So I just think at the end of the day, we have to acknowledge that we have a problem with single motherhood and come together as a nation, whether male or female, without fighting, like you said.
Yeah.
But one thing that we must agree is also moral plays a very big role. Tuambie watu having sex is wrong, because wajua tukiglorify pia sex.
Yeah.
Watoto wanatoka hapo. Hakuna maneno yanatoka.
Do you think the cover that ship sailed? Because remember when we were growing up, we were told abstinence, abstinence, and we were shown gory pictures, and we were scared to death. And it somehow worked. Although if you see this guy Adajita Mkulima on Facebook, nyinyi mlikuwa mnashtua millennials when they were younger about you know, relationships and whatnot, and now they're in their 40s, in their 30s, and now you ask them, where unaolewa lini, where unaoa lini, but she's scared though. But do you think sort of like that ship has said when we talk about abstain and whatnot? Because the people you're telling abstain, they're already, because the onset is what, like 8, 9, sometimes 10-year-olds.
And when you're asking them to abstain, are you asking them to abstain from public and do it in private? Because these guys are geniuses. Someone just needs a device.
When you turn on a check.
Yeah. They're geniuses.
Turn on statistics.
They just need a device.
No, I'm just of the opinion that I think we need to be honest with each other and have a honest conversation. Because, for example, Kenya is really trying to have comprehensive sexuality education in schools, and it has not gone through because there has been a tug of war between the religious leaders and the rest of the civil society.
Yes, and the morality part of it,
The honest thing is, sex is happening.
The people are active.
So if you cannot tell someone to abstain and they are not abstaining, what should
next?
we do? Because the narrative around abstinence with the TikToks and with the Gen Alphas and Gen Zs, I don't know.
And Telegram, I realized just recently, your Telegram is also, I thought Telegram is professional. 99%. No. Someone caught me up.
Yeah. It's like a whole
Moriah
different...
was raised in a Christian home.
In a Christian home.
Yes, I can tell. Your mother did a good job.
But really, we digress. Listen, there was a question on so the singularity aspect of it, okay? We're focusing on single mothers today, but there's also the whole aspect about single dad, because say you were in a relationship, a child was born, and you're not together, but it's not like you're not present in your child's life. You are present. Say you have the weekends, you take the child during the weekends, maybe the child stays with the mom during the weekdays. So is this man also a single father? Like, I think we, because someone said, yeah, see, we are not raised single, single by the fact that they are not together.
When they're willing.
Yeah?
I think when the man is willing, that's when he's a single father. But if he walks out alone, he's alone to the world.
Okay.
Unless he walks out and says, I am a single dad, then he's a single father.
Because you see, most of the time we associate single fatherhood to either the wife died or the wife sort of like relocated. Even when it comes to divorce, we don't think about single dads from
and they
like
don't take
divorce.
the backlash as women do.
Yes.
They don't take
They don't?
So maybe for me, I would say that people look at it depending with who is in custody of the children.
Okay.
Mostly that is what people define with. So if it's the father who is the custodian of the children, then he is likely to be called a single father. If it's the mother who is in custody of the children, which is most likely, depending with the law and the Children's Act, the mother is likely to be the one, then she is the one to be looked into as a single mother.
But is it fair though?
Even when it's half-half?
Yeah,
yes.
Like they shared custody.
And then again, we also need to understand that the whole thing of co-parenting is a new phenomenon that is creeping into the African society. The thing of, I don't know, bringing the parents over the weekend and what have you. This is not something that we were brought up with. It's something that is slowly coming in. So the way people also take in the same is quite different. At the same time, there is issues to do with what we call support. This is called child support. So this is also something that also brings a lot of conflict between the couples. And this is what we see mostly in the social media and out there, that someone has been told to give 100K, 2 million, depending with what the court decides. And this is something that also makes people view the whole scenario in a different way.
Not people, I'd like to correct you, not people, they're males. They now feel, I was taking someone over the weekend and they said, it feels like all she wants is money. No, she doesn't want money. She wants what is right for her children. And when you go to court, they'll ask you, what was the lifestyle of these children?
And then you maintain that lifestyle, you uphold that lifestyle. They need to
maintain that. In my experiences in working with families to elevate them, a lady came with her ma. Yes. No, the man didn't show up. The grandma came. The man's mother. And she said, I was laughing with the children. I'm telling them, how lucky are you? You have 2 homes, 2 beds. And I thought, tick, tick. The clock wasn't talking. It was just tick, 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 because it's not something to celebrate. It's a form of this child, what they go through. We are talking about the single mom. And there's another secret, silent conversation about the psyche of this child. So when this child, maybe they know you as a mom and you're trying to do it right. And you're at home alone. And then there's a guy who has too many friends. And then now, how does that work? Then you look like the bad one because you're angry. You know why people say black women are angry and single moms are angry and it's a woye situation for me? No, it's because she's saying, even if we've parted ways, could you do it right? And that's why I'm saying again, the men.
So I think what we're saying here, all of it makes sense. Just to add on something. Single dad cannot come out because it's abnormal peer. You can imagine a father coming out and saying, I'm a single dad. People are like, Kiaje, how? That's number one.
No, you know what? You know what's interesting? Is when someone comes out and says they're single dad, I think they are approached with more grace than when women come and say they are single parents.
Not in private. Not in private. Yes, let's say come at TV, of course, a single dad. But how can you become That's number. Then number two.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the humanitarian circle, the way it has been formed, the NGOs of today, they are more favoring the single mothers.
Okay.
If you come with that narrative of single mother, it is easier to help a single mother, talking from someone who works with the humanitarian, than a single dad.
Okay.
Because you are vulnerable, first of all, and then number two, they are like, there must also, not all single mothers are single because the man was on the wrong.
Okay.
Some of them have chosen. Let's not forget that too. There are two sides to it. Kuna wenye wamechoose pia amesema want to become a single mother because of ABCD. Number one, it unlocks potential, travel, it shows you're free. Some of them just want to see how they look. Some of them pia let us open the Pandora's box.
Okay.
They look at the husbands, taki mtoto na mtu kama wewe, wanatafuta watu wamejenga, anakaa kama sura zingine za hapa nje. Yes, it's true. Some women look for the kind of men they want to give birth with. It's a truth. Yeah, so the one that keep to look in a certain way.
Yes.
Lakini Mungu ni nani? Mungu ni nani? Anyway, so what I'm saying is, this topic, first of all, you have to declassify it, Tony.
Yeah.
And I also want to agree with you. Iyo part ya kusema kwa it's high time we start being honest with each other. Even in the religious circle.
Yes.
Because you find that even there's a woman who, not out of choice, amekuwa single mother, but the moment anakuwa identified as a single mother, hata kanisa hizi serve. They can't even be promoted in a place of work. And some of them, I'm saying, not out of choice. Umona. So what I'm saying is, the best way that we can deal with this thing, and I thank God, Winnie, that you're having this conversation, is to say, in fact, this should become a national,
conclave.
It's a national disaster. It's a pandemic. It's a pandemic in Kenya.
Conclave.
Because, and then also another pandemic is the single mothers who are now single going out with husbands of other wives. So they may introduce a Pandora's box. Sorry. Let's just focus on the single mothers, but also Sumona hapo sasa. So some of them also are single because it unlocks potential to also do other things that may not be necessarily right.
So as we look at this lady who is going to that married man, what about the married man who is available,
who's accepting to be
what about the married man? Because in fact, it's very important that he's raised this. Yesterday in church, the pastor I was speaking there was saying, there's so many things that have come my way, but I felt my testimony was in jeopardy. My marriage was in jeopardy. I was like, crown him. Because whatever reason he has, he said that was his limit. So when you look at that single mom who has found herself in that situation, and we talked about the Moran thing that he does, when he said that, for example, in this, we're not in town.
Sure.
Samburu, those places he was telling me about. When these men go to graze, for 2 months, come back, find your wife. Game ilichezwa, and then now, you're looking at the person who did it, and you're like, how now?
How?
You see?
So
what I'm just trying to project here is, there's no, hakuna mtu mzuri kwa hii game.
Okay.
Ni wewe ukwe mzuri.
All right. Okay.
It's you. You return to yourself. Come back home and ask yourself, as a single mom, how do I now serve these children? How am I fixing myself in my brokenness? And it's usually a journey. Even with my clients, there are sessions of just wail it out, rant it out, and then now they're like, okay, I'm ready to talk. They can see the storm is calming, and that's when now you start discussing what have you lost. Because you see, people don't consider the losses or the gains. First of all, the maker. Remember during the break, I was saying the man provides and the woman makes. So she's the hands and the feet of the home. She's the eyes, she's the spirit of the home per se. Despite the husband being the priest and praying.
Provider, protector.
And protecting. What is he protecting? What the wife has put together. You know what they say, give the woman a sperm, she gives you a baby. Give her a house, she gives you a home. So
they fuse together.
They do. So it's
the provider
a
and the maker.
For the woman, she's burdened, and she's ready to serve that burden because it's not heavy on her. We came ready, built for this. We came ready to function. So when the society gives you the backlash because of a failed relationship and because it was branded a marriage and then it had offspring. No.
Yeah.
But question, how many women are willing to be submissive in this hour?
Wait, you're the conversation.
Because she's talking about venye ameongea, acha nikwambie, Nairobi unapatana na wanawake wenye ni wanaume bwana.
Wewe umeenda show ya next week.
Amekwaje manify?
Wewe umeenda show ya next week. Yeah.
Listen, the woman become manify.
Ndio part tu umesema ati wanapeana sijui alafu
ini show ya next week. The whole submission to go shine to next week. But listen, I really wanted to hear. Yeah, go. You wanted to do the submission part.
I have no issue with submitting. I'm a very strong woman. I can submit.
Yeah.
Like without even a question.
Even being asked to submit.
Yeah. Again, you have to lead.
Yeah.
I have to submit to something. You understand?
Yeah.
But I mean, we are made to submit. So somebody was telling me, a friend, a long story. The wife is a feminist.
Yeah.
So now the kids went to school, but the family unit is the father, the mother, na watoto. Oh, daddy, mommy, this is what we were taught in school. Mama wakasema pana, in this house, because she's a feminist. We are equal.
Yeah.
The man and the woman are equal. So, anyway, so fusing what they were said, I believe we are meant to be together. A man and a woman are meant to be together. And the one thing we are always seeking, whether we like to admit it or not, is love. From primary, you're going to have a boyfriend, you're going to girlfriend, college. You're doing your career, everything, but you're seeking for love. So even when you become single mother, single father, whatever, you're looking to date again, you know? So how do we probably now get to a point where we are choosing love from the right people? How do we start working on ourselves from a probably a very young age? As parents now, how do we use our kids to be able to identify proper people? That we are not just hopping.
And healthy love, not just looking for love anywhere as long as someone is giving. That's interesting.
So the last comment said, anybody who's glorifying being a single mother is think something about, what did they say? The last Facebook comment.
The last comment. I think they were like, women, one sec, let me just pull it out. Yes, now they're looking for other men to date and whatnot. Let me just look for that comment.
So it was about, I think now, if you're showing to all like you're doing very well as a single mother, you're not. When you lay down in bed, you want somebody beside you. You want a companionship. You have a good day, a bad, you want someone to share your day with. But now if you're alone, of course you have peace, and sometimes you want just, I have my house, I have my peace, I have my kids, but sometimes you're like, this body wants, companionship. I want to hug. I want just somebody to talk to. So the one thing we're always seeking for as human beings is love. And I love love. Might not always work out. But love is the one thing that you're always looking for. You're separated, you continue looking. So how do we also enrich the love we have with our partners? So that if the things are not working out,
there's still that.
Because
most people would also,
how do you work on that?
Because most people would also use the children as ammunition. So you tell them, oh, your dad is like this, your dad was like this, your dad was like that. It's like you want the kids to hate their dad based on the fact that you two are separated, which should not be the case. So I hear you when you're saying love should be the primary, should cover all those things. It as much as we are not okay, but the kids still feel that love from both parents. Now, for those, Tony, you want to say something?
Yes.
Okay, all right. It's
something along also the need to have women empowerment.
Okay.
In the sense that if you look at some of the families or some of the setups, someone is married and then they're just there. They have no idea how rent is paid. They have no idea maybe how to do a business or something. So what happens, and sometimes we can't blame them, but what happens is in instances whereby that person becomes single, they are likely to struggle in the sense that you go to the rural communities, you find out there is a lady there who is married. She doesn't know even when the milk is, where the milk is taken. She doesn't know which account the money goes to. She doesn't know even the land or whatever the husband owns or anything, she's just there. So that's why we need to empower the women so that they can be in a position in case the gap comes up, maybe in case of death or something, then they're able to pick themselves up and run away, other than, first of all, getting shocked and confused maybe for a couple of months.
Don't know what to do and how
I don't know what to do, it's happening. And then the children are going to be affected along the way. And in everything that we do, we have to do it for the best interest of the child.
Absolutely.
So as much as we have single motherhood and single whatever fatherhood and all these conversations we're having, it's necessary that we ensure that we protect the children, because this is the people, the children are the ones who are making us even have this conversation.
That's true.
So let's do everything in the best interest of those children so that we do not end up traumatizing them.
Yes. I mean, you know, in a previous conversation about still single parenthood, you know, one single mother actually, and she spoke very beautifully and said, at the end of the day, it's not about us anymore, because our business is Asia. So let's focus on our kids, because at the end of the day, this by product, like you said. So we need to pour love into them and help them understand that in as much as we're separated, but we don't hate each other. We actually love each other from a distance, and you guys still feel the love, which is really beautiful to hear. And still on the subject of love, because it's true, we love love. I love love. Like you said, sometimes it doesn't you know, happen in a way that we want, and things happen and we find ourselves in situations where we did not want to because we wanted to stay in love. So then for the single mothers, how do they find that love, that in as much as they're separated and, you know, instead of just sticking with that term, I am a single mother, so that means I was at fault or I failed at something. How do they find that love within themselves, that they're able to pour it to their kids, and they're also able to pour it to themselves as well, and the different facets of their lives?
I think it's easy from what she said. From the beginning, I think it's a weakness that is in as women. Once we get in a relationship and we get married, we forget, we abandon ourselves. And now you immerse yourself in the marriage. And
take the title.
And being a mother. So now once you're separated, you have to now think, who was Lilian before? You understand? But now if you maintain who you are, and that goes back to having a, is it a free, all-round marriage?
Okay.
You don't have to now, like, revamp, you kuongeza to, you know.
Based on who you are.
Yeah, because you never stop being who you are. In any case, you've become better because now you're a mom, you're a mother. Like, they should just be add-ons. You should never feel like... But what he was saying about empowerment, that doesn't happen because you lose yourself in the mind. Sometimes it's good to just forget about the outside world. Like, I'm a mom, I have a 3-year-old boy. The first 2 years, I'm just a mom. I even stopped working. I was fully. But now I've come back. Well, I didn't lose myself because I was doing other things on the side. But now I'm a mom and you understand? In terms of empowerment, but then it's sometimes to just have a husband who's providing for you, who's doing everything. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, right?
You know?
And
I like the West because they have the prenup agreement. Like, you're coming in, I'm a very rich man, I'm a very rich woman. So if we separate, what are the terms? It's very clear from the beginning. I really like that agreement, but I don't think it's here in Kenya.
And also what he said for me was echoing submission. When that woman doesn't know where the milk is being taken, it's because of another narrative, quiet narrative of keep your head down. I want keep your head down. You know, just go back to the kitchen. And that's why when Lilian says that you need to know yourself, you need, when I said that issue of who have you always been, it's very important that when the deal is being done, you are serving the food. You understand? So it's good to know, because you're the one making. This guy maybe bought the land, and then you're the one working with the workers. So this issue of the woman being, always having a veil to, always having another steep to jump. And it feels like a steeplechase for women. For you to be, it feels like jump. 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 And someone is just saying, where does it stop?
When does it stop?
Where is the limit? And so I would like to just echo what she was saying. that it's very, very important for the woman to be involved along the way.
Along the way.
Yes.
Okay, so we're due on a break. Do we take a few feedback on the question that we are asking this morning, and that is being a single mom a weakness or the ultimate form of resilience? That is the question that we're asking you this morning. So let's see what some of you have to say on WhatsApp number, that is 0112 500 400. So this one says, good morning at your world. Being a single mom is not a sign of failure. It's proof of strength. It takes courage, sacrifice, and unwavering love to raise a child alone. That's resilience in its purest form. They face challenges head on. They make tough choices daily and still pour love into their children. It's not a weakness. It's power, grace, and determination all in one. I was raised by a single mom, and I can testify it's not a weakness. Wow. Okay. And then this one says, 7 years in marriage with one boy kid. Sahi, it's 3 years since we parted ways. Na sijawahi ruhusiwa kumwona mwanangu. It's really painful because hata nikijaribu kuchip in nimsaidie, I am blocked in all ways. Si kwamba nataka kumchukua nikae naye, but kumhelp na kumwona too, even if it's once in 3 months. This is Kenya. Not every single day is understanding wengine balatu. Okay, we'll also address that in terms of, hiding the kids and whatnot. All right, and then this one says, Sasa show iko sawa. Gen Z do not want to get children anymore. They don't want a family. So what does your discussion help to do, I think? Does it encourage or discourage them? Both the boy child and the girl child. Yeah, okay. Can we answer that when we come back from the break? I know. We're just addressing the abnormality that is. Welcome back to the show. Of course, the show does not stop during the break. If anything, kuna konga la show 2.0 happening during the break, okay? And today on Mindful Monday, we're looking at, what it really means to be a single mother. And we're unpacking all this. And we looked at the different facets that might actually lead up to, someone being a single mother or someone ending up being a single mother. But then again, what we're trying to address today is then how do we move past the title, single mother, okay? And finding self and also making sure that the kids grow up healthy and, with love. Yeah, we talked about love and how we love and love is a beautiful thing, okay? So then how do we move past the whole title? And we also have a question for you, this morning. And the question is being a single mom a weakness or the ultimate form of resilience? A lot of you have a lot to say. So allow me to just go through some of the comments. And especially the first comments that came in. Naya Haley says weakness. Na hivyo ndo amemaliza. Wambugu Baba Tiffany anasema 2 are better than 1. Catherine Teresa says 90% of single mothers raise boys and girls with no family values, are weak and indisciplined. Whew, okay. And then another one says, this is Luca Anzia, who says, it's a fail. Women wanted to have a say. Now they can't even choose a man to marry. Back to factory settings. Most wish for arranged marriages, but can't work now. Free souls, a free world, and free choices. Well, they say women intuition is a thing anyways. If it were, every woman would be choosing the right, or if it were, every woman would be choosing the right man. Aye. Well, okay, sawa. Another one says, Kennedy Wanga says, Mimi kama single dad, sina jibu, okay? And then Kibet Rotich says, mostly being a single mother is a result of disobedience from mostly the females. And if the guy lacks peace of mind, and are left higher. Okiria Henry says it's never a weakness. And then Kenneth Weruwai says lack of accountability. Rama John, there's a Rob laughing. Rama Nasema, there are about 10 billion people on earth. Look for your pair. Tafuta wako, the rib and whatnot. And then Joe Gitao says weakness. It means she can't make right decisions. Wow. And then another one says, this is through Anne, who says, working hard for the sake of the kids is resilience, but running away from your responsibilities, it's a weakness. And then another person says, this is Brian Earl, who says, single mom equals widow. Not necessarily always the case. And then another one, I think I read this. There's nothing positive about being a single mom. They all crave for a man. I think this is what you were talking about. All crave for a man to lead, protect, and also status-wise. So many ladies pretending to be okay with it. It's hiding a lot of inferiority complexes. It's a lot, okay? It's a lot. So people are, some are like, it's a weakness, others, disobedience, they're not able to make right choices. And these are the things that we're saying, can we move past just the title single mother equals disobedient, equals they're not able to make the right choices, equals they're not submissive, and that is why the man, left, and all those things. Moving from it, let me start with you, Eric, on this one. So moving past that title, what will it take? And this is like from a whole societal perspective. How do we move past just the title, a single mother?
I just want to throw a span in the works. You'll not be a single mother forever. At one point, these children will grow and turn into adults. In fact, wanasemanga you are a parent until 18 by law.
Okay.
But if you do a bad job, your children will stay with you until they turn 40 and above. Sawa. So it doesn't mean that you stop being a biological parent. I mean, if they live with you, by law they should live with you until 18. Then after that they go. Sawa.
Okay. But they don't stop being your child just
no. And that's what I was saying in terms of residence.
Okay.
After 18, we can jail them, we can hang them because now they're adults.
Let's not.
But I'm just saying by law. But below that, you can be sued or you can be taken to jail for not taking care of your child.
True.
So I think where we need to move past it, I think is what Tony has said. We need to have a honest conversation. The single mothers are here with us. And they'll be here with us, some not by choice, some by choice. Let's make it very clear. Some not by choice, some by choice.
Yes.
So for the ones who are not here by choice, we should ask ourselves, how can we support, empower, come alongside them if there are dads in the community who can also be there with them. And the ones also by choice, they should realize that there's what we call masculinity that is both soft and toxic. So if you're raising a male child, at one point they will need a male to speak into their lives, because when they start growing those footballs, they'll not understand them as if you don't have one, unless you're, they need someone to explain this is what happens when your voice breaks, there are people to step in. So it has never been them versus us. It's just people finding themselves in a certain space, and how can we come alongside you? Then finally, before you engage in a physical act, it should be a carefully thought process. Should you decide to go and stay with someone, in where I come from, Christianity tunasema cohabiting. Sawa, nasihukumu mtu. But if you decide to do that, know that it should be a carefully decision, because something is going to come out of it. And then also, I want to disagree only one time with Lilian when she said that God always knows. I believe that. But also some actions or some things come as a consequence of sin. Tumelewana? Because if you decide to engage, now I'm talking biblically, atheists, Muslims, and Buddhists, this may not apply to you. But I'm speaking in a Christian way, and I'm not judging anyone. In my faith, they say that when you sleep with someone before marriage, it is a sin. Sawa. And some of us may be paying for, because there are also consequences. The Bible says that we shall pay. That's why there are 10 commandments. So it's like, I don't want to go to scripture and start giving you any. But what I'm saying is, some of it is a consequence of a bad decision. Also, let's also be honest. Ukienda kuchapa kadunda, na uwekewe vitu zako, unaamka kwa somebody's bed, ujue ulifikaje hapo, na umepata hauna nguo. Most definitely something happened. So you also need to take things to take care of yourself. And if you don't, there might be a byproduct. So just think, tuambiane pia ukweli venye Tony. Mimi nachukua tu maneno ya Tony. Tuambiane ukweli. Ni ukweli ndio umefanya nikaongea hivi. Kama ungeongea hivyo, ningeisugarcoat na niweke coconut.
And spice. Okay, moving past
I do as an elevation coach is help you identify your ladder of positive intent.
Okay.
Many times you are not on the lower radar, you are up, you're somewhere in the middle, and now she was saying you add. Now this guy has gone and you're a single mom. What do? Okay.
Yes.
Someone would say I climb faster. The burden is lighter. But it's not really lighter because the person you're with was not a burden.
Yeah.
I would like to assume that that's why you are together in the first place.
Yeah.
It was a love situation. So that positive ladder of intent is very, very key in returning to your God self. Because where did we come from?
Yeah.
We came from yonder. We all just found ourselves in our mother's wombs and we were birthed.
True.
So when people forget that process of who have I always been, that is so powerful. Who have you always been? Never lose that. Even when you're talking about not knowing where the milk is, that lady is somebody. And that's why in Shags, if you dare look like you're standing up after your husband has passed on, no enemy.
Yeah.
Enemy. Someone go and tell that lady, nyanganya microphone, you know? She has nothing to say. So my view is, as a woman, sacrifice yourself, but don't lose yourself. Don't lose yourself.
Okay.
Love yourself. Keep yourself elevated. Do what is working for you. Edify yourself. Keep your God self in check. Because most of these conversations we're having, if we go back to the God self, everyone will be quiet and say, I found my God self, show me the door.
Yeah.
Because that God self is the default setting, the reboot button on your life. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, very interesting. All right, let's pick a call and then we'll come to Tony and Lilian. Patrick, joining us via phone all the way from Kitale, my hood. Good morning. Hello? Good morning. Can you hear us? Oh, okay, seem to have lost him, but please call back. So from where you know, as there's a lot of conversation about the family unit and how it was meant and how, you know, the societal construct really as far as, you know, families are concerned. And then we find ourselves, and I think everybody strives for that, but then again, we find ourselves in situations where did not work. How then can all of us, and also men, and also grandmas, and also grandpas, and everybody, you know, neighbors, friends, everybody just come together to, first of all, just support this single mother who's trying, you know, her best to ensure that the kids are okay, but also support her, because majority of the times the focus is usually on the kids. Let's make sure that the kids are okay. But what about this woman? So how can we come together and support her to also move past the title single mother? Yeah.
Thank you for that. Allow me to say that, yes, we said the family, the way it's supposed to be. That's the ideal. That's true. So as he says, we're already talking about an abnormality. So that's why we have the single mother. It's no longer the ideal. Yeah. For me, I would say that, again, the context is very key. Whatever we experience here in town is quite different from what single mothers in deep rural Kenya experience. Yeah. For some of them, they are literally excommunicated from the community.
From the community.
They are not even seen.
See, to hold up, Patrick is back. Yeah. Okay. That will pick up from there. All right, Patrick, good morning.
Hello, morning.
Thank you so much for calling us this morning. Do you have a comment or a question?
I'm Kadele from Kitale. Nilikuwa nataka kuongea kidogo.
Okay.
Mi naona kukuwa single mom inakuja kuingiana na kama mtu mjane.
Okay.
Yani namaanisha mtu mjane, unajua kiamua ni mjane si kitu unaamua, ni kitu kinakupata. Na ikisha kupata istahili uoleke tena, so unakuwa mjane, unaamua kukaa kwa boma ulee watoto wako, Mungu paka bila atakuchukua, sasa unakuwa mjane. Na pia kuwa single, unakiangalia Kenya saizi wamama wengi young ladies sai wanaenda kwa ndoa muda kidogo, wanakorofishana, wanatoroka, wanataka kuwa single. Na hii kuwa single imekuja kuwa ni kama kitega uchumi, ni kama biashara. Because hiyo mtu anaenda anachukua mzee wa mwingine, anafuga, anakulia pesa hapo, anachukua wanaume kama 10, huyu ni wa kuiunda nywele, huyu ni wa kulipa nyumba, huyu ni wa kusomesha watoto.
Okay.
Sasa unapata hii single inafaa tuangalie what is a single lady. Hii single inafaa kuwa ni mtu umri imeenda, ameamua, alioleka pengine kiti ikakuwa kwa ndoa.
Okay.
Wakafurushana, akaamua sasa anataka kuishi mwenyewe, alee watoto wasipitie shida alipitia. So unakuja unapata single Kenya imekuwa ni business, kitega uchumi. Watu wanatoka kwa ndoa, wanaenda wanaoa wazee wa wengine, wanafuga, wanakuwa sasa sugar mummies, sio sasa single lady. Unaona? So inafaa tuangalie isikuwe ni biashara, ikuwe mtu akikuwa single imaanishe ni single analea watoto, sio kukua kufuga wazee wa wengine, kupigania kwa watu. That's not a single.
Hey. Okay. Thank you so.
Mimi nakubaliana na huyo jamaa mwingine amesema hao wanaume ndio wameongea kuhusu single lady wananyang'anya watu. Ni ukweli. Single Kenya imekuwa single lady ni biashara. Tena ni kitega uchumi nzuri, inaingiza faida sana.
Asante sana, Patrick. Okay, we're talking about single mothers. And there was also a similar comment on Facebook. You know, one who said, hey, they're using it as, you know, another kisha toka hapo nina atafuta bwana ya mtu. And I think you also mentioned, you know, something like that.
Wakwenyu wa Kitale. Kuanzia hapo kwanza. Hao ni watu wakwenyu wa Kitale.
Ni watu wa Kitale. Ni wetu. Mimi siwezi kata huyo ni wetu. But again, you said the reality of the matter sometimes is there are some women who are like that, but it's not like all single mothers wanatumia that to go and trap other people's husbands and cause other women to be single mothers as well because they're taking their husbands. There's some who are like that, but majority are really aren't. Tulishikilia point.
Okay. So I will also pick up from where
what Patrick has said. Yes,
because that's the context and how people see it deep down in the communities there. So the thing is this: you see, what happens is that not all single mothers are out there commercializing that they are single or taking advantage of other people. The same way, I remember Lilian at some point mentioned feminism. I know that's another word that people are not so comfortable with. But feminism is not something bad because it's not monolithic in nature. Feminism, there are different schools of feminism and different thoughts of the same. But this is what happens. You see, the community is likely to see the negative, and that is what they will run away with. Like he is saying, there are many who are out there not commercializing and they are single mothers, but no one tends to see them. But one in 100 does it, then that is the story. The same way, feminism, we have toxic feminists and we have amazing. We have eco-feminists, we have structural feminists, we have all these schools of feminism. But people tend to focus on the toxic one because they are more outspoken and they're out there shouting, shining, and then what they do is that they subdue the other feminists. So that's why I said we need to be very careful when we are dealing with the people deep down there in the community because we have single mothers who are really suffering. They are not even being seen. How can we have social support groups for them? How can we ensure that we have empowerment for them? Unlike here in Nairobi, whereby we have people who have been empowered, someone who can decide just to walk out. For them, they have no option, they have nowhere to go. So how do we ensure that we are taking care of those things?
And let's not categorize all the single mothers in one because the situations, circumstances are very different. Okay, Lilian, and I think we were to Malaysia show because we need to wind up.
Now, there's a quote I go by. You know, you were born alone and you die alone. So, but when you're in the world, it's an illusion that you have all these people around you. It's just an illusion. It's nothing like that. So I believe in having the difficult conversations with your partner, even probably before. Sometimes most people get pregnant without planning. Marriage, of course, but now, you know, commitment. Not accident, but just get pregnant, even if you're married. But it's important to have the difficult conversations. What we were to separate, how would that look like? You understand?
Yeah.
And what the guy called, is called Patrick.
Patrick,
the one
yes.
who called.
Yeah.
Single mother is not Mambokuwa widow. Because you find love again. So you can also say that now the heartbreak was so bad.
And even the widows still find love.
Yeah, you can see the heartbreak was so bad. Of course, it was very bad and you went, it ground you to the ground. But you always have to rise up.
Yeah.
But how do we get the single mothers who are extorting the men to stop doing that?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you go to court, you're asking for 100K, judge anaona pana, you're working, able to provide, and
Yeah.
20. So you end up losing. Even the father was saying, I'll give you insurance, I'll give you education. But now if you want more that you weren't even getting when you guys were together.
Become greedy.
Yeah, that's terrible, yeah? So you were born alone, you die alone. So even if, when you get into a marriage relationship, whatever it is, maintain your individuality. Don't get too caught up. Get caught up, but unajua, mimi niko, I am Lilian, nimesimama on my own, and if anything were to happen, I'd cry, I'd be sad, but I'll get back up. Then I'll get more love.
Right?
I'll keep continue looking for love.
Yes, love is a beautiful thing.
But then, of course, if you're in the setup, man, woman, child is the ideal setup for everybody. You know, just make it work. There's no violence, there's abuse. Of course, you move out, you move along. But if just a few wrangles here and there, just make it work.
Try and make it work.
Make sure, you're thinking, how do I feel? Am I feeling safe? Am I feeling peace? Am I happy? As Lilian.
As an individual.
And then now, the husband, the children, the community, the church, Eric, everybody else. You know, it all works out.
And you don't lose that sense of
even
self.
if when it happens, kidogo, you're on the low, and then now, you know, things always rise up.
You rise up. Wow, thank you so much, Lilian. And that marks the end of our conversation today on unpacking what exactly it means to be a single mom. And the consensus is really, let's not take that term, single mom, and then divide everybody or put everybody in that one box. There's so many facets to it. So let's extend grace, really, you know, when we're also talking about single moms, because the circumstances are very different. There's some who, yes, by choice, and that's okay, but there's some who found themselves there. So let's extend grace, okay? But for now, I'd like to say a special thanks to Lilian Nganga, mom, project manager, entrepreneur, and a podcaster. Special thanks